Okay, today we're going to reflect this triangle ABC over 4 different lines. We're going to start by reflecting the triangle over the y-axis. Now you may remember the x-axis is this horizontal axis right here. The y-axis goes up and down. We're not going to concern ourselves with the x-axis right now. We're going to reflect this shape over the y-axis. When we reflect it, we don't reflect the whole shape at once. We reflect individual points. For example, here's what we do. We're going to go over to letter A right here at 1, 3, and it's going to reflect over the y-axis. It's going to move the same distance to the other side of the line. So it was 1 unit to the right. Now it's going to move 1 unit to the left of this line, right there. This is a reflection of the point A. We're going to label this point A, and we're going to put a little thingamabob up there. It's called the prime symbol. So A reflects to A prime. B, which was over here at 5, 1, it's going to move, instead of being 5 units to the right of the line, it's going to move 5 units to the left of the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a little dot right here. And we're going to label this point B prime. Here's point C. It's down here. It is 2 units away from the line. It's going to reflect 2 units to the other side of the line. So we're going to put a little dot right here. We'll call it C prime. And you can kind of see our triangle starting to come together here. We're just going to connect the points. We're going to connect A to B, or A prime to B prime, excuse me. We'll connect B prime to C prime, and C prime up to A prime. And if you look at our finished object here, looks kind of the same size, same shape as the original. It is a reflection, and that's how you reflect this triangle over the y-axis. That's our first line we're going to reflect over today. Alright, we talked about the x-axis just a moment ago. That's this horizontal line right here, and this time we're going to reflect the triangle over the x-axis. The same idea is true here. Each of these points is going to reflect over the x-axis. So this point A that was 3 units above the x-axis is going to reflect straight down below the x-axis 3 units. So it was 3 units above, now it's 3 units below, and we call that point A prime. B is only 1 unit away from the x-axis. It reflects straight down here to 1 unit below the x-axis. We, of course, label this point B prime. Now, C is kind of goofy. It's already below the line, so when it reflects over the x-axis, it actually reflects up above the x-axis. It was 2 units below. Now it's going to move 2 units above. We call that C prime. And this gets kind of goofy when you connect the points here. We are going to connect A prime to B prime to C prime to D prime. And you kind of get this overlapping business going on here this time. So let me try to connect these points. It should kind of go through that middle point there. When you connect A prime to C prime, you're going to notice that these 2 lines are going to intersect. And here's your finished object. What's kind of cool is wherever these graphs kind of overlap, they seem to kind of overlap or touch on the x-axis. So you see kind of this little cross right there, they intersect and they intersect. That's the reflection image. It's kind of weird when the shape overlaps an axis, so points above the line reflect down and points below the line reflect up, but that's how you do it. That's our second line we're reflecting over. The third line we're going to reflect over is the line x equals 2. You may recall the x-axis is the horizontal axis right here. The line x equals 2 is not parallel to the x-axis. We actually go 2 units along the x-axis, and it's this vertical line right here. So the line x equals 2 is parallel to the y-axis, but it does go through the x-axis at 2. So this is the line we're reflecting over this time. Same thing is kind of true as when we reflected over the y-axis. We're going to reflect points like this A point here. It's 1 unit away from this line. It's going to reflect 1 unit away from the line in the other direction. So it was 1 unit to the left. A is now going to reflect 1 unit to the right of the line. And it's called A prime. The point B is 1, 2, 3 units away from this line. It's going to reflect 1, 2, 3 units to the other side of the line. We're going to put a point there. It's 3 units away. We'll call that B prime. And where's point C? Oddly enough, point C is right on the line itself. So if C is 0 units away from the line, it's going to reflect 0 units away from the line. It's actually going to reflect on top of itself. So C doesn't move when it reflects to C prime. Those points are the same. So what do we connect? Well, just like before, we're going to connect A prime and B prime together. We'll connect B prime and C prime together, and C prime will connect with A prime. So connect these points here. These points will connect like this, and this will kind of shoot straight up like so. Notice the same thing happened as before, where these two lines kind of intersect is right on this x equals 2 line. So the resulting shape here kind of looks like a bat when it's combined with the other shape. Get out of here. All right, here's our last one. The line y equals x poses a few more challenges. It's not a horizontal line. It's not a vertical line. It's a diagonal line. It goes through nice values like 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. It's this nice diagonal line that cuts right through here. This is the line y equals x. And it continues down here through the lower left-hand part of your graph as well. It should be a little bit more straight than my picture. All right, here, how does this one work? Well, we're still going to reflect points over this line here. You can kind of see this point A here. It's going to reflect down to kind of to this part of the graph. The points B and C are both going to reflect kind of up here to this side of the graph. What I find works well with this is instead of leaving the picture diagonally, because I think it's hard to reflect over diagonal lines, I think it works better if you turn your picture like this so that your diagonal line kind of looks like it's going more horizontally. You can also have it turned so it goes more vertically, but we'll kind of use this idea for right now. Notice the point A. If you go from this line to point A, it kind of goes across one length of this square. It's kind of in a diagonal direction, but it goes kind of through one whole square. So this point A would actually reflect kind of downward one whole square to this point. And we'll call that A prime. Okay, here's my point B right here. It's 1, 2 full squares away from the line. Kind of count 1, 2. So if I keep those full squares going kind of along those diagonals here, it's 1, 2 below, so it's going to reflect 1, 2 above. Here's where B prime is going to be right there. 1, 2, 1, 2. B prime. Here's point C. You notice point C is 1, 2 spaces away, kind of 2 of these squares away, 1, 2 squares, so it's going to reflect 1, 2 squares up here. It's going to end up over here. 1, 2, whoops, 1, 2. C prime. Now I'm going to turn the paper back the way that it was originally. I know my labels are kind of crooked now, but I'm going to connect the points here. A prime will connect to B prime to C prime, so on and so forth. And when we're done, here's our picture that we end up with. Now if you use a ruler or a straight edge, you get a little bit straighter lines and it works a little bit better. That's the reflection image, and you know, it's kind of hard to see from a diagonal a regular perspective, but when you turn it this way, I think it makes it a little bit more clear. Or if you turn the paper so that it looks like this line is going straight up and down, I think it makes it a lot more clear. And there you go. We've reflected our triangle ABC to points A prime, B prime, C prime over 4 different lines. And that's how you can do some basic reflections using drawings.